Hello there, VK3ZBX here. I've been doing a bit of metal work today. Sometimes I have these episodes where I just go berserk, cutting up bits of aluminium and stitching them together and making things. And I said on the first session of the Type 78 receiver that I was intending to build a cradle for it. Well, it's starting to take shape, and this is it here. It's a funny looking contraption. This space in the foreground here is for the radio, and I can demonstrate how that fits in. There's a couple of adjustments need to be made to it, but there's a connector that's got to go in the back of it. The connector has been ordered, so the connector in fact goes down into that space just down in here at the back of the radio and mates to the connector on the back of the radio. So there's a bit of a cavity at the back there, and so it's going to need some padding or suspension or something of that nature, just to sort of retain the radio so it doesn't slide about all over the place. And of course, on the front of the radio there will be the two retaining screws where the handle drops down below the radio onto the cradle, and the two retaining screws on the cradle will hold the radio in place and stop it from sliding out. So far so good. So that's the side where the radio goes. And on the other side, the circuitry for the detector and audio amplifier system is already starting to take shape. Now, I've got a fairly extensive collection of parts and what have you, and the circuit board is left over from another project, so really all I had to do was trim the size of it and cut the holes just a bit larger. There's a few retaining brackets and this sort of thing have got to be attached to it just to make it a bit more rigid, but it's definitely taking shape. And as you can see, the transformer, or one of the transformers, is down the bottom here already. It hasn't been mounted, but that's roughly where it's going to go. Mains cable entry will be at the back, and the front panel is in fact will be down over here next to the Type 78. So when it's finished, the Type 78 will reside in the cradle with it anchored into position, and the power supply and audio amplifier will be in the adjoining compartment, and that should enable this radio to go back into service. So the cradle's not finished yet, far from it. It'll take me the next couple of days to get that all sorted out, and then I'll have to build the circuitry around the audio amplifier and the power supply. So hopefully that will go as smoothly as the radio has gone so far. And by the time it's got a cover on it and I've had a nicely fabricated front panel on it, that should really start to look the business. Once again, thanks very much for your interest. VK3ZBX 73s.